Okay, before you start the next problem, I'm going to do one example to show you how to find the rate of change using a graph. One of the things I do want to mention is rate of change is the same as slope. So if you know the slope formula, you can find rate of change using that formula. And I'm going to write it over here. We know that slope is change in y over change in x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So for using a graph, we're going to have an x and a y, and we're going to use that formula. So you're going to notice the first thing they say, they want to know when the rate of change over x equals -1 to x equals 2. So I need to look at the graph first. When x equals -1, my y, there's the point there. So when x is -1, y is 4. Okay. I also have when x equals 2, so I'm going to look for the point along the graph that has x of 2, and at that point, y is equal to 1. So now I have 2 points that I'm going to use, and that's where our x1, y1, x2, y2 comes in. And now I can use those and use my formula. So I'm going to do the change in y over the change in x, y2, which is 1, minus y1, 4, over x2, 2, minus x1, which is -1. 1 minus 4 is -3. 2 minus -1 is 2 plus 1, which is +3. And -1 divided by 3 is -1. So my rate of change is -1. Now I'll do one more. We're going to go from x equals 0 to x equals -3. So I have to look for my new points. When x equals 0, see, x is 0, y is equal to 1. So I've got 0, 1. When x is equal to 3, I'm going to go up, and right there, y is equal to 4. So my other point is 3, 4. So I'm going to do the same thing. Change in x over change in y, rate of change. And I will label these x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going back to my formula, this one way up there. y2, 4, minus y1, 1, over 3 minus 0. Okay? So you're just kind of going back and forth. You do this minus that, and then you take 3 minus 0. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. So my rate of change at that point is 1. Okay? If you look at the graph, this should make some sense, because when I'm going from x equals -1 to 0, or I'm sorry, to 2, okay, I'm mostly going downhill. That's why it's negative. When I look at going from 0 to 3, so if I go back over there and look at 0 to 3, from 0 here to 3, okay, I am mostly going uphill, so that's why I have a +1. Okay, so use this example to do the next problem on your homework.